All right, let's start by making the case for the drills. We're going to look at this through a personal story, from the perspective of a student who actually found that all that repetition, well, it built a surprisingly strong foundation.
So as a student, it turned out these drills weren't just busy work at all. They were absolutely crucial. They helped build a really solid base for pronunciation and made it way easier to memorize all those essential phrases you need just to get by. It was proof that this method, especially at the beginning, has some real, tangible value.
But here is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. The student grows up and becomes the teacher. And from this brand new perspective, the limits of just memorizing stuff, they become super obvious. This is where that simple approach starts to show its cracks.
And you can see the difference so clearly here. On the left, yeah, that's what worked as a student. That solid foundation. But now, look at the right. From the teacher's point of view, the students could repeat phrases back perfectly, but they were totally lost when you asked them to express their own ideas. There was this huge, massive gap between knowing the words and actually communicating.
So, if repetition by itself isn't the whole answer, what is? Well, somebody needs to build a bridge, right? A bridge between knowing the basics and actually using them in the real world. And that, right there, is the essential job of a teacher.
This insight leads to a pretty simple but really powerful three-step plan. First, you build the foundation. Use the drills for the absolute basics. Then, and this is the key part, you build the bridge. You have to create activities that push students to use those basics to say something new, something personal. The ultimate goal here is to find that perfect balance between accuracy and genuine, creative communication.
And this brings us to the core philosophy of this whole approach. It's a really powerful metaphor, and honestly, it works for teaching pretty much anything, not just language.
Here it is. The key takeaway is to use those behaviors techniques, the drills, the repetition, as a tool, not as the entire toolbox. I mean, think of it like a hammer. A hammer is a fantastic tool for a specific job, right? But if a hammer is the only tool you have, pretty soon everything starts to look like a nail. Your teaching toolbox has to be a whole lot bigger than that.
So in the end, it all comes down to balance. You need both accuracy, the ability to make sentences that are actually correct, and you need communication, the ability to express what you're really thinking and feeling. One without the other is just incomplete. True fluency is found right where those two skills meet in the middle.